Hey, Autobot scum! Eh? Aw, nuts.
So while transforming Hook, aka Generation Toy Crane GT01F, for the first time, his right arm just broke right off. I was able to finish the video and put the Devastator together. Thankfully, the arm would fit back on and transform, but it is broken. It will not stay permanently on the figure. But as you can see right here, what is broken on the character is the shoulder tube, if you will. This is not supposed to actually be a hook on hook. That's supposed to be a fully formed circle right there. And it's supposed to go around a rod in his shoulder so that it'll rotate up and down. However, it did break the first time that I actually moved the arm into position when trying to transform it. So thankfully, Rob at TFSource.com was able to find me a replacement part, and he sent it. I've never done this before. I took a preliminary look at the back of the character to see what I might be in for. Looks like we have some small machine screws. I'll be using my jeweler's screwdriver set here, which has a number 1 and a number 0 Phillips head screwdriver. Hopefully one of those two or both are the size or sizes that I need. And if not, I probably will be having to buy a screwdriver from the hardware store. So stick with me as I fumble through repairing Hook's right shoulder. I have the part from TFSource.com, thanks to Rob. I've opened it, but I closed it again just for the presentation. I've seen what it looks like, but I haven't actually taken it out of the package yet. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Pretty simple. You know, it's just going to be that shoulder joint right there. So hopefully it's going to be fairly simple to do this. So I guess we're going to, first things first, figure out how to take apart the arm. I thought I had the whole arm. Wow, I forgot. Okay, so that's going to be interesting. So let's go ahead and get this part out. There you have it. Excuse me. There you have it. You can see, oh, I was wrong. It doesn't make a full circle, but it does clip in. Can you see that right there? It's a C-clip, so it's supposed to clip on it. Maybe we won't have to screw this in after all. But I didn't foresee this challenge here of having to pull apart the arm. Let's see what's going to happen with that. Okay, so it looks like this part of the arm can come off. It's got this circular joint that fits inside this groove on the elbow. I'm just nervous about trying to take that off. Okay, maybe that's not a good idea. Let's find some other parts that we can possibly disassemble. I don't see a screw. Oh, these are all, I guess, inset screws. So let's go ahead and see if we can get a screwdriver in there. I'm going to test the smaller one first, see if it bites. Don't go in immediately with your screwdriver and start turning, because if you have something that's too small, you might start stripping a screw, and then you're really out of luck. So I feel that it's in there. It's biting. Oh, wow. Okay, these ones I can see the heads on, and these ones on the back, which isn't the part we're trying to unscrew. But if I can at least find the tension of the screw. maybe I know how much force I have to apply to this screw. Gee whiz, those things are like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this out. These are nice and tight in there. Let me try this one. Wow. Oh man, I don't know about this. This might be a non-starter. It's not budging. Wow. What a bummer. Okay, maybe there's a simpler way to do this. Maybe, again, there's one of these kind of disc joints, swivels, disc swivels right in here, if you can see. So it's just like it's snap fit on there and only removable from one side. So maybe, wow. See how brittle that plastic was? And that C joint? I just broke off another piece. Too brittle. Too brittle. Oh no. I just broke it off with a new piece. Oh my gosh. Yeah, just broke it off the new piece. So there goes that. New piece, same as the old piece. Oh, that's a bummer. That is a bummer. Well, I guess it probably saved me a lot of work because it probably would have ended up with the same issue, breaking off right at the joint. I don't know what I'm going to do about this. The most expensive way to go about this is to buy a whole new figure, if I can find it, and just have the new figure instead of the old figure. Another thing is maybe I could figure out how to, I don't know, extend this piece with something else. I'm not much of a materials guy. I'm not much of a model maker. I'm not a model maker, so I'm not sure if anybody out there has an idea on what could be done to, you know, reconstruct this. Reconstruct that little C arm, C joint, back so that it is more of a C, not just an open curve, so it can bite onto the shoulder rod here. If you can see, it's right there. It's just a shoulder rod, and all it really needs to do is clamp on there. And I don't know why the left one's been okay so far, but the right one snapped off on the first transformation. So this is a disappointing and short video, but I think I'll put it up anyway, and just show you guys that not all toys, even when they look great, are created robustly in every aspect. And that's one of the differences perhaps between a Takara Tomy toy and a third-party toy or a knockoff toy, is the materials. I'm not necessarily knocking Generation Toy on the whole, but I will say that such an important action piece as this little C for the shoulder swivel really should have been thought through a little bit better. This should have been a more pliable plastic, or perhaps it actually should have been a completely enclosed circle and manufactured a little differently so that it was slipped onto that rod instead of clipped onto that rod. You know, there's a lot of tension on this arm. It's nicely manufactured, so there's good joint tension. It'll hold a pose. It looks like it might be kind of heavy, but this part actually you know, stays swiveled pretty well. It's just a real disappointment that small of a piece right there, such a critical piece, would be manufactured out of something so brittle that even the replacement part I got happened to just snap off with finger pressure as I was trying to figure out if I could pop this swivel loose. So for now, I guess Hook will have to live with a partially usable arm. At least it can be positioned in place, and he can be transformed. So I'm not going to lose too much sleep over this. But again, it is a bummer that that's such a poorly manufactured part for such a critical joint. Another thing I noticed on this guy was this backpack is supposed to slide into place. It's supposed to apparently snap up. It's got a tab right here where it's supposed to slot into the tab into the back, so it holds this swivel plate into place. However, I don't know if you can see that very well, but the tab is a little too low in this position to tab in. So there's a little bit of a manufacturer, I guess, excess plastic right there inside the groove that looks like I have to file it down. So I am going to attempt to do that because it is a bummer that this backpack does not want to tab into place like it, I guess, should. So I am going to take that apart. Let me go see if I can go ahead and do that right now. Even though these screws have been one heck of a screw. Oh, wait a minute, there we go. Oh, that's right, I forgot. I did this one before. Make sure I don't lose this. I'm going to put it inside the lid here just to be safe. But I did not file down this slide groove. It's got a very, 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 very slight sharp edge there, like it does here. And I think this was manufactured specifically, I'm sorry, right down here. This is where I want it to go. I want to be able to slide it all the way up onto his back so that this tab will go in. So I need to file down one of these 2 points, very, very tiny points. But they're enough to keep this this from sliding and positioning in place. At the top here, it kind of notches this plastic piece so that it will lock into place when it's in that position. They look like they've tried to do the same thing here. It's just that there's 2 of them on the bottom and one of them's getting in the way. So I'm going to file one of these down. So this is my nail file. It's got your fine side and it's got your rougher side. I'm going to use the rougher side because I'm really trying to wear down, you know, a pretty good bit of plastic when it comes to the scale of how finely manufactured these things are. So I'm going to reduce, this edge looks like the more prominent little bump. I'm going to leave that bump in place, and I'm going to sand down this this more subtle edge. Because I think that may have been the part that was mismanufactured. So let me go ahead and do that. And just try to keep this flat with that surface inside the groove so that you're not beveling it or changing the angle of the plastic. You're just trying to file down that piece that's getting in the way. You just want it to be flush with the other surface. And then when it gets a little dusty, dirty, you can kind of slap it on your jeans, clean it off a little bit. Of course, then you've got dirty jeans. So don't wear clothing that you really like if you don't want that dust on there. And I think that's coming out pretty well. Yeah, it's looking pretty flush. So let's test fit this. And I'm going to pop that in here. Maybe. Okay, I'm going to pop it in the middle, or not. Where am I going to, is it going to pop in? This is ridiculous. Blow out some of that dust. I'm going to pop this little guy, this little plug back in. Huh. That's peculiar. Good viewing though, right? There we go, okay. There, it's in now. I'm going to put the screw back in it just to test the motion. Lay it in there, and then I'll use a screwdriver to help drive it in because it's really kind of stubborn. Alright, there we go. So now let's test the slide here. Okay, it's still getting caught. So that other protrusion is still too... Hear that snap at the top? I think that's what they want to happen on the bottom of the slide too. They want that to happen. So I think they're really looking for this. And it won't do that because it won't go past that nodule. It won't go past that nodule there. So I'm going to file down this edge a little bit. This edge is completely fine. I don't think I have to disassemble this, but I'm going to pop the screw out. Oh, I guess the whole thing. Nope, I'm going to leave it. All right, it's in there nicely. And it's not going to get in the way, and it's not going to get in the way of the file. So now I'm not going to file this down too much because I don't want to take away the notch completely. So maybe just a, you know, number maybe 10 times there, just enough to get the most prominent edge worn down. There it goes. Okay, now it's still a little too prominent, but that's the effect. And it did snap into place. So let me go ahead and be careful with this and pop this plug out and file this down a little bit more. I'm going to come from this side in case I was wearing the knob down unevenly. At least I can get it more even this way. Wear down the other side as well. And again, I don't want to do too much because I don't want to wear it down so that the slide lock doesn't work. Go. There we go. There we go. There we go. It still takes a lot to do it, a lot of action to do it. So I think for the benefit of transformation, I'm going to go ahead and wear down both slide locks just to make it a little bit softer of a lock, because right now that takes a lot of force and I don't want to be breaking my toy every time I try to lock that into position. So let me go ahead and wear this down a little bit more. And I can still see that it's there, but it is wearing away. So I'm going to do the same here at the top. I'm going to do it from the back side because it seems to have a little extra plastic on the back side edge here. Maybe bleed from the manufacturer, you know, a little plastic that was outside the mold, a little bit of edge. I don't want to wear it down too much, like I said. You can definitely see the difference between the top lock and the bottom lock. That's quite a bit more plastic on the bottom lock. All right, let's pop this back in. Wow. You know, for as much criticism as we can give these toys, I still am amazed at how minutely these things can be detailed and how great of a job these companies do manufacturing these things. I mean, so much work, so much mechanics, so much manufacturing technology going into making all of these detailed plastic molds that somehow then are supposed to fit together and not break. And, you know, it's just, Generation Toy has done a great job with this whole set of characters as far as the detailing and the modeling and the manufacturing of the pieces, you know, and their style goes. But materials perhaps could have been a little more crucially looked at. Man, I don't have enough to say to keep going to... There we go. Should have used the screwdriver in the first place. All right, so putting the screwdriver in place with the screw. There we go. Now I've got a nice click lock at the bottom. It's actually a more solid lock than the top. And I think I'm okay with that. It'll wear down over time. So let's go ahead and put this guy back on here. So that's where the screw is going to go. And just be gentle, you know. It is plastic. This is a metal screw. You don't want to strip out the plastic and ruin your toy when the screw won't hold. So now we've got it locked into place here, and then if we slide it up and lock it into place there, it now locks. Here's the tab hole, which also looks like a screw hole, but it's a tab hole. Here is, let me take off the arm. Here is the tab. Now are they gonna line up? Now they line up. So, oh, and then I guess his little flap can be pushed down too to rest on his shoulder, locking that into place. So, you know, one fix, one unfix. One fix and one break. But so be it. It'll be okay for now, and like I said, hook can still transform into his Devastator piece. So I'm not going to be too worried about that broken piece, except that it does make transforming a bit of a pain. And posing also is going to be a little bit more problematic. But as you can see, I mean, that's a great ratchet, and you don't get that ratchet now in the other arm because it's broken. So anyway, not going to bother you with this, but suffice it to say, you can still pose him, and you can still transform him. So despite the fact that our repair part broke, we did take the moment to fix his backpack, which now will, well, it'll at least sit in position. Whether or not it's fully tabbing is another question, but it does lock in there into place, as you can hear. So, and if we untab it and we slide this down, it will now also lock into the top position, and it will also lock into the bottom position like it's supposed to. All right, well, we got one fail, one win. This isn't the first Transformer I've broken. I had to get a replacement of another character. So word to the wise, be careful out there with your toys, and thanks for watching.
I guess you win some, you lose some.
Hey, thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Until next time, see ya.